So welcome ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. We are back with FIFA 23 yet again. I know, I haven't touched eFootball in the longest time. It just doesn't interest me, folks, and I just can't get into it. Konami put some content out that we enjoy. But anyway, today we're going to go through the deep dive notes, all right? So this is basically all the updates, all the upgrades, the features, etc. that are be coming to FIFA 23. I did this last year with FIFA 22, so kind of just doing the same thing. I'm not going to talk through the whole thing because I will literally be here an hour doing that, but I'm going to skim through it. You guys might even want to just put on some, I don't know, some headphones and listen to it that way because this is going to be a whopper. But anyway, let's dive into this. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller and crack on. So here's the list of the old table of contents. So you've got the HyperMotion stuff. We all know about this. HyperMotion, for those wondering, is a technology that EA are using to pretty much play matches in real time and then take those animations and the way people are mocapping. Look, it's pretty much a more advanced way of mocapping because you get like 11v11 on a field playing a match, and then they can take all that data and put it into the game. So you see a ton new animations and all that other stuff. It is really cool to look at and it's very advanced. I mean, I wish FIFA had a better... oh, blimey! A better engine. I'm sorry about that. I'm still under the weather. But I'm going to leave that in there because, you know, there's no edits here. There's no second takes. All right, let's dive into it. So there is the HyperMotion 2 gameplay tech, right? Now, it's only available, as we know, on next-gen platforms. So PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC this time around, and the Stadia. This technology is composed of two major anchors: advanced 11v11 match capture and machine learning. And then it basically enables to have over 6,000 whopping animations that are transferred directly from the real-world pitch to the game. So that, in a nutshell, is your HyperMotion tech. And then they talk about it here. We're not going to go over that because I'm not fast. A quick example, just to show you. This was what they showed in the deep dive stuff. So there they are, playing some football. I would have liked to do this, if I'm being honest with you. Get me involved. EA, come on. You don't think I do enough for you guys? Not really, but I would still like to do it. I mean, you know, just go out there, play football, get your animations and all that into the game. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much the purpose of what it's all about. We've seen it all before. Next up, we've got full team authentic motion. So new animations have been introduced to FIFA 23 to improve gameplay variety and immersion, including everything from new shots to passes and even goalkeeping saves. All right, that's that. Then you've got the machine learning. So what this basically does is we've been able to use ML, machine learning, to increase the performance and accuracy of our neural networks, which can generate a variety of movement animations in real time, resulting in a more robust structure for FIFA 23 and future EA Sports FC titles. There it is. That's what it's going to be called next year, folks. Prepare yourself, because we're no longer going to be saying FIFA. We're going to be saying EA Sports FC. Just sounds wrong. All right, let's move into... I need to do that real quick. New in FIFA 23. So the main philosophy or design philosophy that we took to heart while making FIFA 23 came from a mixture of our own investigation and experimentation, as well as community feedback. How much community feedback? With FIFA 23, we are aiming to achieve a new level of footballing variety by creating mechanics that haven't previously been seen on a virtual pitch, and by updating existing systems to enable fresh experiences. Okay, so now let's get into the fun stuff. So, for those that are interested, they have updated the women's football game. Now, I did play a very quick kind of tournament on FIFA 22 with the ladies, and it wasn't too bad, and I'll tell you why, because it's different. The women dribble differently, they move differently. Obviously, they're not as quick as the men, so it is actually more for myself. It felt more like a natural pace. So I would recommend actually... Sorry, I'm gonna have to keep coughing because the voice. I would recommend you try out the women's football if you haven't on FIFA 22, just to give it a bash. But basically, here are the gameplay elements we're adding to women's football in FIFA 23. So they've got new movements, created 3 unique sets of movement archetypes. Is that right? Based on height variants, totaling hundreds of distinct animations. They've got new star signature run styles, kind of cool, made multiple new movement visuals based on real players, including Sam Kerr and more. And then you've got women-only animations, and this is what I mean. They've added hundreds of new women-exclusive animations, including shots, kickoffs, stationary idols, celebrations, jockeys, passes, ball control, dribbling, and more. And then they had the very short snippet that they showed about the women's club football. Bit of the old mocap, get some screen of the face going. And away they went. I wonder what tech Konami uses. I've no idea, but it's not this advanced. So there it is. There are the ladies. And we saw this the other day in the trailer, but, you know, we'll have a look at it again. There's the old outside of the boot. Defending's a bit suspect. And as you can see, the socks are looking sharp. So yeah, you know, the women's game, it's something different. Will I play it a whole lot? No, I won't. And I'm sure a ton of people won't be playing it, but, you know, give it a bash if you want to give it a bash. Right, moving on. Technical dribbling. So this is on next gen. That's what NG means. It means next gen only, exclusive. So pretty much, let's just summarize this. So dribbling and ball control. So precision of the dribble touch. This is what they've improved. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to read all this. We'll be here till midnight. Dribbling, agility, and reactions. How quickly animations play out. We've got dribbling and ball control. How close or far the ball can stay to the dribbler. Which for me has always been a problem in FIFA. The ball always looks like it's glued to the player's foot. And not everyone is messy. You know what I mean? Dribbling and reactions, how much speed the ball carrier maintains while dribbling. Dribbling, agility, balance, and reactions, how quickly the ball carrier can transition between different dribbling animations. Note that these attributes are also used for other mechanics and actions. So, not having that. So that's pretty much that. Let's move on, and then we have another video showing you this is the technical dribbling, which, you know, we'll see. Dribbling for me in FIFA, it can get a little bit crazy, especially, I mean, the finesse dribbling, I think, is ridiculous. I don't think they needed all the competitive dribbling, whatever they call it, the agile dribbling, I think that's the name. It's ridiculous because everything just gets sped up 1,000 times. I mean, if you look at this clip, it doesn't look terrible. The ball is kind of moving freely and it's a more natural pace. The players are still going to look like they're ice skating at times, folks. That's not going to change. I've told you this many, many times. People still don't believe me. It's like, oh, it's a new game. Yes, it's a new game, but it's running off the same engine. It's like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all those games. At the end of the day, it's still technically going to be a Battlefield game. It's just got more enhancements. Right, let's move on. So, machine learning jockey. So, on next gen once again. So, they've kind of updated the jockeying this time around. So, it aims to provide tighter feeling controls and increased responsiveness when keeping up with attackers while jockeying. It's L2 on the PlayStation controllers, the left triggers on the Xbox, or sprint jockey, where you press L2 and R2, left trigger, right trigger at the same time. So what this does is expands the use of our machine learning algorithm into a fully player-controlled feature. Provide a counter to technical dribbling, giving players more options and further feeling of control while defending. Fair enough, because once again, it's like when you have such fast dribbling and agile dribbling and you can't keep up with them while you're defending, it is a bit annoying. And that's why generally I don't like playing on Legendary, because the AI just, you've seen them, they're insane, absolutely insane. So here's an overview of how the machine learning jockey can impact jockeying in FIFA 23. So the jockeying player has the ability to turn at a variety of angles to improve their defensive coverage. It is now slower to de-accelerate, going from high sprint speeds into jockey, making it harder for players to over-rely on inauthentic fast stops and quick turns. Well, that's nice to see, but they've got to keep this. Don't be changing it just because people whine about it. The defensive awareness attribute impacts the following aspect of jockeying: the max speed while sprint jockeying. The sprint speed attribute does not impact jockey speed. We've got transition speed between jockey and sprint jockey. How much speed and acceleration are maintained when exiting jockey into sprint? We've got acceleration during jockeying along with the acceleration attribute. It's a lot, isn't it? The higher the defensive awareness attribute, the faster a player can perform the jockey movements outlined above. Players jockeying within the box can now place their hands behind the back. There we go. So if you ever played with handballs, well, now you can actually not maybe give one away. So here it is. That was what they were talking about. With kind of the way the player was just waiting, wasn't he? Just bang, straight in there. Wins the challenge. Then we saw this. We saw this the other day, but I let it roll out, play out. And then you've got them actually playing there. He's talking about once they get into the box, they then stick their hands behind their back. I mean, I would still put my hands behind my back even if you're not in the box, because you don't want to give a handball free kick right on the edge of the box. So, accelerate. Another next-gen feature. So, accelerate is an expansion to our player movement system, all right? So, dividing players into unique archetypes. Is that how you say it? Sounds odd. This enables us to showcase personality in player acceleration with the goal of improving the viability of different player types in FIFA 23. And these are acceleration types. I'm going to speed this up because this is going to take me all year, because I've not even moved. I'm barely moved down the page here. So we've got controlled. So most players in FIFA 23 will fall into the controlled type as they accelerate uniformly in a controlled manner. You've got explosive. So these are more shorter and more agile players are able to quickly cover short distances and get ahead of their opponents, even if that means slowing down after the initial burst of acceleration. We've got lengthy, so taller and stronger. These players need a bit more time to get going, but are able to catch up to anyone and even surpass them, provided they have enough long distances. So that's a more elongated running speed. These players start slower, but will thrive over longer distances. All right, and then after that, they just kind of show you the categories. As you can see, you've got explosive, you've got to be more agile than 65. So, you know, you'll take all this into account. So an example, Vinicius is going to be more of an explosive accelerate player. Virgil van Dijk is going to be more of a lengthy one. And then you've got someone like Son Heung-min is going to be more of a control player. But I like that. I do like that. You know, I've got nothing wrong like adding a little bit of individuality to any type of player. You don't want someone like Virgil van Dijk, you know, running like an agile player when he's 6'6", you know, and then you've got someone like Vinicius who's smaller than what, 5'11", 5'8", 5'9". You know, he's more of an agile player. So good to see. All right, let's have a look. So this was the accelerate, and this was a pretty good example of just kind of showing you what they mean, and now we have a better understanding. So there they are, bombing it down the flank. We'll have a look in a minute when they run side by side. So here we go. Whoops, where's that gone? Didn't want that to happen. So if we bring that back, yeah, go away, more videos. So we've got probably a controlled, maybe, or agile controlled, and then you've got the lengthy one. So when you watch them, there he is. He off quickly. He starts catching him up a little bit more, and then the Kempemba with the more lanky, long sprinting, you can see he's starting to catch up to him. And then someone like Vlahovic is probably more of a control player. Cheeky finish. And there is Vinicius accelerating away. Can't catch him. He's too quick, lads. And Bosch puts it in the back of the net. So there we go. All right, let's move down. So here it is. There is the example for you. Acceleration type, and it tells you. So you go on the player, someone like Pulisic, or Pulisic. He is an explosive acceleration type. So there we go. Now you guys know where to go. The acceleration type is calculated right before the kickoff. That's interesting. So it's important to note that it is affected by attribute changes that can happen before the match. Chemistry, morale, but it is not impacted by attribute changes that happen once the game has started. So that's interesting. So it can change. Well, that is rather interesting. Didn't know that. So there we go. That adds, I guess it adds something to the career mode, or even foot, depending on what you're playing. Right, next up, we've got power shots. We're going to fly through this now, folks, because I'm taking ages, but you know me, I like to chat. I recommend you just listen to this in the background, to be honest. Power shots are a new skill-based shot type that add extra power and accuracy to a shot at the cost of time. God. Sorry, I'm trying not to cough, but whoo. And a higher degree of input precision. So basically, this is eFootball's stunning shot. So here's how you perform it. You press L1, R1, and circle on the PlayStation controller, or it will be square for me because I changed square to shoot, and LB, RB, and B on Xbox controllers. So that used to be a low-driven shot, didn't it? I'm pretty sure. To be successful, you'll need to consider a couple of options. So there we go. Simple, easy. That's the power shot that they've added to the game, and there is an example for you. So instead of that being a low-driven shot now, the L1, R1, and shoot is going to initiate a whopper of a finish. All right, fair enough. That's what it said, right? Yeah, L1, R1. I swear that used to be low-driven shot. They've changed it. And then you've got the attributes, which I'm not going to worry too much about. Right, they've redesigned the set pieces, as we know. I'm not really going to talk too much about this because, honestly, we need to get the game in our hands and actually try it out. I didn't realize as well in FIFA 22, when you do an exhibition game, you can actually rewind in real time, and then just, if you get a free kick, you can keep taking free kicks and practicing them. I didn't know this until the other day, which was quite funny. So there we go. You've got curve, which will determine that, shot power, crossing, free kick accuracy, and all that. But we know there's going to be new set pieces, and there's going to be new penalty system as well. There is lying down behind the wall, which is quite funny. I mean, I didn't really see the need for it. Is the AI really going to try and score a free kick like that and put it under the wall? If they did that, I would laugh. I would laugh. It would be quite funny. But there he is. He tries it. I still don't really like the way they run up. It's like, if you're going to take a free kick, have a little bit of oomph in your step. And then you've got the penalty kicks, as we spoke about. Now, when you step up to the spot, you will see a shrinking composure ring that is based on your player's composure attribute. Ideally, you want to time your shot when the ring is at its smallest, just as it touches the perimeter of the ball, in order to take a penalty kick with great accuracy and power. And then you use the left stick to aim, and don't worry about going past the net because you are not seeing a reticle. We set your aim to within the net, about 3 feet from the post, and your aim is fixed, so no need to hold the position you want, as you aim won't recenter. All right, so they've changed that. So they got rid of the reticle. I wonder if they got rid of that just because people can often see where you're going, and now it's more of a random playing field. I mean, it does seem a lot simpler. It goes smaller, and now, boom, press it. There it is. Nailed it. Top bins. Absolutely fired it in. But obviously, you want someone with good attributes and good composure. And there's your 2 factors as well. All right, more football. Let's move on, folks. We're nearly halfway through. Ridiculous. These are always long ones. Anyway, we've got shooting. So they've reworked semi-assisted shooting now. Aiming closer and inside the goal is reworked with greater improved accuracy. I'm just going to plow through these and talk about the main points. Low shots. These shots will only occur when the player requests a low-powered shot. Request up to 40% of the power bar to get a low shot. Okay, so now it's more automated. Outside of the foot on demand. So outside of the foot shots can now be requested using L2. And I think that was the flare button that it used to be. Variety shooting, or shooting variety, dipping shots, downward shots, side foot shots, sliding shots, and bouncing shots are more commonly appearing in FIFA 23. Refreshed diving headers, an animation refresh. They've added new volleys, dozens of animations, and they've added high power outside of the foots and lay shots while jogging. There's a lot of variety, isn't there? But we'll see. Composed ball striking, which is on next gen. we'll have a look at the video. So there we go. Oh, that's the ridiculous skill from Grealish. Won't want to see him pulling that off this season. So there it is. A little touch on the knee, and there's the volley. One thing I did see at the beginning here, if you kind of watch... Would you go away? It's kind of... Kempembe's trying to hold him off. Have a look at it. Almost trying to pull his shirt. And then, well, just got away from him. So there we have it. Beautiful. Now, when it comes to passing... You've got competitive passing. They've improved semi-assisted through passes, semi-assisted lob through passes, also semi-assisted lobs as well. Pass receiver lock setting power up. This is a new setting that will select the pass receiver when the pass button is released or when the power bar reaches for power, whichever comes first. And then you've got extended crossing zone. Expanded the irregular crossing zone to allow for crosses at the top of the box. Yeah, makes sense. So now there's more of an expanded zone here, and when you whip them in, you know, the ball could go anywhere, to be honest, which is true. I mean, you know, crosses don't always have to go in the box. Sometimes, like Wan-Bissaka, can't cross a ball, and the ball ends up anywhere. Outside of the foot passes on demand. Right, we've got goalkeeper passing with feet. Goalkeepers are more consistent at performing passes, even with lower short, long pass attributes. I mean, yeah, most goalies can pass a ball. I mean, that's common knowledge. You've got new animations, added hundreds of new animations for volley passes, new back and buttock flare passes. Kinky. You read that right. Yes, we did. High-powered outside of the foot passes, outside of the foot lob balls, agile extended passes, and kickoffs. And then we're talking about skill moves, which I'm not really bothered about. We will plow through this very, very quickly. I believe now, you know, a lot of players will use, right there, it says at the top, I'll just show you here. We've added 4 new skill moves and 3 new fake shots, including a new explosive fake shot that can be used by players like Mbappe with at least 4-star skill moves. We've also implemented left-footed skill moves into the game, which I'm really surprised they've never had that. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty standard, isn't it? Most people can use their left foot to do a skill move, but we're finally getting it. All right, lovely. Moving on, and there's the moves, right? Stutter feint, heel to ball roll, heel fake. I don't really care about these, but some people might. First time feint turn. For me, it's trying to learn all these skill moves. Like, if you're playing a real match, you know how to do a move. Your feet does it for you. But trying to learn them with the old hands, ugh, it's too much work. Explosive fake shot, jog, open up, fake shot, stand, open up, fake shot. I'm pretty sure they just pick these names out of a hat and just go, that'll do. That'll do, donkey. Skill move input changes. So super flicks, you've got skilled bridge, disguised first touch, left-footed skill moves. You've got the elastico, reverse elastico, and the triple elastico. You've got the drag back, the simple rainbow and advanced rainbow. Hocus pocus, sounds like a Halloween flick here. Flick over, sombrero flick, sombrero, and flick up to self and running fake drag. All right, moving on to attacking positioning. So here are the most significant attacking positioning updates we've made to FIFA 23 with the aim of promoting a more attacking diverse... We've got double teammate support, so you can call more than one teammate close to support the ball. Hey, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I missed that on another game. This support can be requested by double tapping, double tapping R1 or the right bumper. The right bumper. Sorry, I thought Ollie was coming in the equation. Deep lying playmaker player instructions. We added a new player instruction for midfielders to consistently ask for the ball and gravitate towards ball handlers. Can only be applied to center defensive mid. Someone like Rodri right there. We've got better offside awareness on next gen, so players are less likely to drift offside. More separation runs, pin down defenders. Sounds sexual. Updated tactical AI, nice. This update prevents players from being stationary for too long. Good. I want to see it. If stationary is no good. More attacking support is offered to the ball carrier when inside the opponent's box. Controlling the ball. So controlling the ball is a vital part of the game. So this year we are adding new mechanics and making improvements to ball control in order to maintain the fluidity of play. So you've got step-ins, so stronger players in control of the ball can step into the defender's way. Contextual, let the ball run. You've got shield pushback, consistent slide traps, and added hundreds of new animations, including shield traps and slide traps. Lots of other stuff. All right, now when it comes to defending, folks, we've got kinetic goalkeeper versus header battles. So in FIFA 23, we are enhancing kinetic air battles to add further interaction between the goalkeeper and a heading player. We've introduced dozens of new interactions that allow keepers to more confidently jump to catch a cross, allowing players additional peace of mind that keepers will secure the ball. I did see a clip of this on the trailer. I thought it was really nice, so we'll look at that. I'm sure they're going to show us it. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff. Goalkeeper's line of sight. So goalkeepers can now be slower to react if their vision is blocked. That should have been in the game a long time ago, but finally, at least it is being added, you know, and that comes down to reflect, reflex, and reaction attributes will impact that. So you got to take that into account. Where honestly, most of the time, I just stick a goalie in goal and he does the job. Goalkeeping throws, I've got goalkeeping driven roll. So keepers can perform a driven roll now. There you go, similar to the existing driven throw. Improved be a goalkeeper mode with all of the latest improvements. They've added multiple new save animations. They've added new gestures to increase personality as well. And then we move on to defensive positioning. So with the improvements to our AI behavior, we have made a number of impactful changes to defensive positioning along with a new mechanic to add to your toolbox. So you've got the partial team press, you've got double tap as we know. Teammates continue to mark until that's been released. The players are switched or their teammate contained stamina runs out. Tactical changes, depth tactics. So we've set greater differentiation between both extremes of tactical depth. Higher depth teams will hold the defensive line high and be quicker to push up the field when the opponents retreat. Then you've got defensive awareness, quickness. That's on the old next gen. It's a long one, folks. I know, these are always long. We're like 40 minutes this. Blocking, right? So they've got the reflex blocks as a new and more natural blocking system that is triggered when the defender does not have enough time for a controlled block. These blocks will more likely lead to glancing deflections based on the recent physics improvements. So, yeah, just a bunch of blocking. And then we've got the tackling. With tackling this year, we wanted to give you more ways to defend against oncoming attackers and make defensive gameplay feel more rewarding for making the right decision. Hard tackles or hard slide tackles are a new sliding tackle that are intended for more urgent situations where you want to dispose the attacker but not necessarily try to keep the ball in play. And this is a prime example right here. Looks good. Natural, fair enough. There's another one. I mean, they do look cool, I will say that. You know, when it looks just the way they do it, get up, referee says, sure, that's a throw. There it is. Boom. I don't know what Tony's looking at. That always cracks me up. Like, who are you looking at, son? He's closed his eyes, middle of a dribble. He's got a defender coming across, and he's fallen asleep. Madness. That's why he's lost possession. Can't blame anyone but himself. So there we go. Hard slide tackles can be performed by pressing R1 and square. This is the problem though, is trying to remember all these commands. All right, you've got a new back heel tackles as well. And yeah, ultimately, folks, there's just a ton of more ways to defend. There's more defensive changes here. To further improve the amount of defensive options available to players, we've made several updates to existing areas of gameplay. Shepherding the ball, shielding it, shepherding it, you know, when you shepherd some sheep. Clearance improvements. Clearances now use the following attributes. You've got the bicycle clearances. They can be on demand with the old flare button, L2. They've added new animations, of course, and yes. Now, player switching. We continue to take in player feedback year after year when it comes to player switching, and in FIFA 23, we've added brand new setting to enable players to have greater control. Honestly, it got so complex with changing players, I just press L1 or flick the right stick, but we'll see what they've added. Adaptive right stick switching. This is the new setting for right stick switching. Holding the right stick in a direction would allow a switch to players further away. So you've got to hold it, and then they'll do further away players. Flicking the right stick allows you to switch to the closest player. Yeah, that was like before. Our goal is, with the new switching system, is to make it easier to switch to players further away without having to flick the stick multiple times. All right, and then there's a few other ones as well. Now, across the pitch, just to end things off, I don't really care about this stuff too much. I mean, they've added a lob through pass setting. They've added defending setting locked to tactical defending. And then there's a whole bunch of new rules. They've added 5 sub-rules. New offside advantage indicator. They've got cancel offside. Referee strictness setting. Didn't they used to have that? And then they got rid of it. So they've now got back very lenient, default, strict, or very strict. This used to be an old feature. I know they're saying new setting. I saw this back in the day. Online matches are using the default. No, you should randomize online. See what happens. Player movement. Increased player top speed. They've got a new avatar run style. Added 5 new avatar styles. Can be applied to avatars in career mode, etc. New star signature run styles that we saw before. So the likes of Mbappe, Kerr, Pulisic, Vinicius, Alphonso Davies, Pedri, and more. Over 130 players are now using avatar styles. So that's more like the player ID. And then you've got more set pieces as well. So for throw-ins, there's multiple things. You can do a normal throw-in, a manual throw-in. Players with the long throw will now be selected to perform long throws. Goal kicks and other set piece improvements, etc. Now, when it comes to the physics, they've got advanced impact physics now as well. And then this was them kind of showing the tipping of the old hand, which, like, it looks all great and all, but, you know, you ain't going to see this unless you're watching a replay. But it's still nice to have. Let's have a look at that again. The way the goalie... Like, I think it's fun to put these on, like, if you slow these right down, 0.5, you can see it more natural. So, I mean, it looks cool. You know, I'm always up for adding more animations of goalies and stuff because, you know, you just don't see enough. You just don't see enough. All right, that's that done. Now, new net physics, net interaction physics. Goal nets are now react to the motion of players running, sliding, and falling into them. I mean, this is the level of quality they're putting out with the nets. Have you seen eFootball nets? I know they're just nets, folks, but core blimey. There is going to be higher fidelity net interaction physics on next gen, so the shape and the reaction of the nets are further refined on the PS5, Xbox, PC, etc. Player awareness, now there are authentic falls, we've got stumbles, they've added new self-preservation behaviors as well. Then we move down here to the CPU of the AI, which in an effort to improve the match experience against the CPU, AI continue, and this year we're excited to share several updates. Well, good. As I've said many times, the AI is something that they do need to fix. The opponents are now better react to on-pitch situations, both tactically and in terms of subs, updating their formation and their playing style during the match. The AI will analyze the match difficulty, score, match type, match time, and the players available on the bench to change their approach like a real-world manager. We'll see. It sounds cool, but we'll see. The CPU AI will also take into account the preferred positions of the players outside of their main role, as well as their preferred playing side. That's one thing I will say that PES always did better than FIFA. When it came to Master League, at least the AI generally will put out different teams and, you know, depending on their form. FIFA, for me, I feel like they just put anyone out, or they just put the same team out every single game. I don't want it. Mix it up. So, we expect that this will have a significant impact on matches you play against AI across the game, from career mode to foot, as the CPU might, for example, bring on more attacking players if they need to score, changing to a more offensive formation, which I like, because you know why? That opens the game up. Gives me a chance to counter them and score some goals. New CPU AI only trait, so round the keeper and first time shots. General CPU AI updates, so the CPU AI can be more willing to commit riskier fouls, crosses, and counter-attacks. They're less likely to rely on backwards dribbles and can make use of the sidelines and generally smoother dribbling transitions. More likely to consider a variety of passes and rely less on first-time passing. That, for me, is music to my ears if it works. Nothing worse than watching the AI go ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Like, what are you doing? It looks ridiculous and no one does it, especially on the higher difficulties. It really is annoying, so hopefully they have toned that down. New play styles for teams. Teams can now focus on the more physical aspects of defending or play more conservatively. Player-based difficulty now works on legendary and ultimate difficulty. Players affected by player-based difficulty get a plus 10 boost on all attributes when on the ball. If not already enabled, player-based difficulty now turns on competitor mode. I never bother with that. Keep it realistic, son. Now, deeper match analysis. This year, we rebuilt the player rating system to be more robust and provide more feedback to players. Blimey, eFootball and PES, they have not updated their player rating system since the dawn of time, back in the early 1800s. Fairer ratings based on the player's positioning. You've got less rating reduction for not scoring, so etc, etc. We also tracking and calculating new stats for player and team performances, with duels being the major one. The following can be found on match fact screens. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of things that they've added that I don't know if you guys look at it, but it's there. So you've got offensive duels, defensive duels, aerial duels as well. There's a threat chart if you want to look at that. You've got crossing stats, offsides caused, how many times you were beaten by an opponent. And then you've got celebrations and crowds. We continue to build on big goal moments on Next Gen with brand new scenes that can play out over the course of a match. Additionally, we've made improvements and added many new crowd reactions and chants. Very nice. And more additional updates. We're nearly there, folks. We are nearly there. They've got the practice arena if you want to do set pieces. Fair enough. So on-demand free kicks and penalty kicks in practice arena with specific location selection. Just press the old D-pad. Good. I want to practice them. Let me do it. Free kicks can now be taken from anywhere outside of the box. Penalty kicks can be taken when requesting a set piece inside of the box. PlayStation 5 enhanced haptics. That's right, folks. They've added new vibrations for power shots, the new penalty kick system, clean ball contacts after a tackle, and a missed tackle. So you're going to feel the vibrations. And then you've got trainer changes, overhaul the UI elements for the pass receiver, etc. You've got some skill games in there as well, and loads of other stuff. And there we go. That is it, folks. We have done it. We've gone through everything that we needed to go through. And I'm going to go all the way up. Beautiful. So there we have it. What do you guys make of it? Let me know in the comments. I know that was a long one, but I do want to, I do want to cover what I can and at least put out some more information for you guys. Some of you may know about this stuff, some of you may not. I didn't know all about that stuff, so it's a refresher for myself. But we will be back Monday. They're going to be showing career mode, so I'm going to be looking for that. Absolutely. We will get back to playing eFootball at some point, folks. I'm still not really well enough to commentate for a long time. As you can see and hear, I'm like, brr, brr, brr. So once my voice is better, then we'll crank to it. But we will be back this year. FIFA 23. I'm going to play it. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm just going to crank out the content for you guys. But don't worry, next year, Master League's coming. PES Universe also working on an option file for PES 21, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, subscribe for more. Let me know your thoughts. What are you looking forward to the most? Let me know. And take care.